Hello, boys and girls, and everyone else. I'm so glad that you joined me today. We're going to be doing a little gardening during our Bible story time. Now, in the book of John, chapter 15, verse 5, Jesus says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. Have you ever thought about God being a gardener? Well, if you go back to Genesis, God created light on the very first day. And you know, you need light to make a garden grow. You gotta have plenty of sunshine. Plenty of sunshine. And God also made a very special garden, the Garden of Eden, for Adam and Eve to live in. So, absolutely, God is a gardener. And a gardener helps things to grow and takes care of things. And that's kind of the way God is to us as Christians. He helps us to grow. He gives us the gift of the Holy Spirit when we invite Jesus into our hearts. And the Holy Spirit helps us to shine the light of Jesus out into the world. Now, when I was growing up in Georgia on a cotton farm, well, you can't eat cotton, right? You can make clothes out of cotton, but you can't eat it. So we grew a lot of vegetables. We had a great big family vegetable garden. We grew rows and rows of sweet corn and okra and squash. Oh, I bet some of you are making yucky faces right now. Well, I loved it. And we grew green beans and butter beans and all kinds of peas. We had purple hulls and black-eyed peas and little field peas called little green field peas. Those were my favorite. I could go on and on, but we would gather all the peas and the different things and take them up to my grandmother's house, spread them out on big old bedspreads in different rooms in her house, I remember, and let them cool down. And we would have cousins and aunts and great aunts from all over come to her house, and they would sit in rocking chairs with big pans in their laps, and they would snap those green beans and shell those peas and then pass it on to my grandmother, who was in charge of the kitchen crew, and they would blanch the vegetables. That would be when you drop the vegetables down in hot boiling water for just a little bit, just to clean them up, and then you cool them off quickly in a cold bath, and then put them in the baggies, twist them tight, and divide them up among all the family at the end of the day. Everybody would take their share home and stick them in their freezer, and we enjoyed some of the best vegetables all year long. You know, I really, really miss those days. I miss that garden so much. Well, one of the things that we did not grow, at least I don't remember us growing them, were pumpkins, and pumpkins are one of my favorite things. I love pumpkins. Now, when I grew up and got married and had my own two kids, Abby and Wes, I discovered a very special book called The Pumpkin Patch Parable. That's a little hard to say. By Liz Curtis Higgs. She wrote this book for her own kids because she loves the fact that God made pumpkins too, and she wanted us to remember that they're very special. Well, we're not going to read the whole book today, but we're going to start in the back and then look at a page in the front too. Now, we gave this book to Abby when she was 6 years old on Easter Sunday. So we just had Easter not long ago. But why did we give Abby a book about pumpkins on Easter Sunday? Well, we're going to find out. So she was 6, and so the book's about 17 years old now, and the pages are falling out. I can't believe I've had it that long, but I have. So let's start in the very back, and we find the farmer. He's picked his pumpkin, and he's cleaned it up, and he's carved a big happy face into it, and he's putting a light into it. And the book tells us that in Matthew chapter 5 verse 16 it says, in the same way you should be a light for other people. So remember, we talked about that. The Holy Spirit living in us helps us to shine that light, the light of Jesus, out into a dark world. Now let's go backward to this page where the farmer is getting ready to plant the pumpkin seeds. He's cleaned the rows are nice and neat. There are no weeds in it. He's got it all cleaned up. and he's dropping the tiny seeds into the ground. So, oh, there goes my book. So if you're wondering why we gave Abby this book for pumpkins at Easter, it's because not long after Easter is when you plant these tiny seeds so that they'll have time to grow. And that's what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to dig a little hole. Let me pour these out so you can see them in my hand. That's what they look like. Okay? And I'm going to make my hole right here and drop one in. Then we cover it up, pour a little water on there, and then we make sure we have it in a sunny space. Now, pumpkins grow on vines, and remember Jesus said he is the true vine, but pumpkins need a lot of space. And I was thinking maybe this is something you want to do this summer. It's not too late. You need about 100 days to let the pumpkin seed grow and to get bigger and bigger until it's ready to be picked in October. So, if you can talk your mom or your dad into buying some pumpkin seeds for you, they're not very expensive, then you'll need to maybe go out in your yard and find a nice sunny spot with some good dirt and dig it up, get all the weeds out of it, and plant your seeds. And then, as the gardener, you'll have to take care of it. You'll have to water it and protect those pumpkin seeds so that they can grow. And what would you need to protect them from? Well, how about some critters? Raccoons and bunny rabbits love to eat garden vegetables. So you'll have to figure out a way to protect them, protect your pumpkin vines from those critters too. And then, hopefully, if all goes well, we can meet together in the fall at church for our trunk or treat, and we'll read the whole story of the pumpkin patch parable and how the farmer selects his great big pumpkin and carves that happy face in it, puts a little light in there, and that's just like what Jesus does for us when the Holy Spirit comes to live in us and helps us to let our light shine out into the dark world. Now I'm going to finish planting my pumpkin seeds, and I hope you'll be able to as well. If you can't, I'm sure we'll be able to share some with you, and I hope to see you for our next Bible story time soon.